Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Tonight we're going to look into how to get a certificate with Java from a Spring Boot application. We would like to get a certificate out, and then we would like to store, or not store, just print out when the certificate expires. So when can it not be used after? That's exactly what we are going for, and this is the code that we are going to use. Here we have the code. So this is just a normal default Spring Boot application. I'll just show how I created it. I pressed File, New Project right here. Then I chose Spring Initializer, Gradle, Java, and then I chose sudo 18, which is the version that I'm using right now. And of course, I'm using WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux, and I have installed SDK Manager to keep track of all of my SDKs like Java, and I've installed the version 18 very easily by just writing SDK install Java space and then 18 minus sudo. It cannot be more simple than that. So, and then I added Spring Web right here, Spring Web, and then I also chose Lombok just because it is almost de facto standard, and it just makes it just helps us with by creating a lot of boilerplate code that we don't need to create all the time, which is a bit tedious. So then I pressed finish, and as you saw, it was Spring Boot 266 that I'm currently using. And and here we are. So then I got this nice project right here. I started by creating this certificate service right here. So I want to create a certificate service that can actually give me a collection, a list of certificates that we have right here, and I've named this method inside my cert service for gimme certs, and then it takes a URL as an argument. So it takes a string as an argument right there, and as you can see right here, it throws a lot of exceptions. And yes, it is of course you can throw exceptions around if you want to. Of course you can also handle your exceptions and then log them when something happens instead. But what you should not do, you should not both log and throw your exceptions. That is for sure. And I'm not doing that actually. I'm just throwing these exceptions to my Spring tests afterwards. So yeah, I guess it's kind of okay what I'm doing right here. Then we have I'm creating an empty list right here. This is what I want to return. This is the purpose of this whole method, is to fill out this xcerts variable right here, and then return that in the end of this method right here. So that's the purpose. Then I need to create a context, SSL context, and I am using the TLS SSL context. And you create a context by just saying get instance and then the name of the SSL context that you want to get. And this is just technical. There are a lot of technical stuff that we just need to provide to get this. So it's actually I would not say it's not easy, and there's a lot of things to dig into and understand afterwards. So, but this is the way if you want to get a certificate, and if you want to programmatically check if it's when it expires, then this is the way. There are no security checks right here. I'm not checking if the certificate is valid. I'm not checking if the domain name is correct. Actually, I'm disabling all of those checks because I want a certificate, and I want to look into this certificate just as if I had a browser. So let me just check right here. I have a browser right here, and here I have my own web page right here, codeinvestigator.com. There are no 3 W's in front, and there's a good reason for that, but I will tell you in just a minute. But here, if we go here and say the connection is secure, then I can see here the certificate is valid, and then I can see a lot of information about my certificate. I can see that it's valid from the 6th of April to the 5th of July, yes. And that is fine, and this is exactly the information I want. I can also see somewhere that it should be Let's Encrypt that actually issued it. That should also be possible. So we can actually see here's the tree right here. We have the certificate path right here. And these are the certificates that are being used to create this certificate down here. And I'm using, this is a Kubernetes cluster, and I'm using the Let's Encrypt Certificate Manager to automatically go out and renew my the certificate for the domain every time it needs to be renewed. Just for fun right now, if I go to www.codeinvestigator.com, then the certificate is not valid. And if we go look at this, the certificate is not valid, and then we can see right here it has some kind of fake certificate, and that's because I've been playing with these certificates, and that's quite good, because now we have two different URLs that we can try. We can try codeinvestigator.com, and we can also try with www.codeinvestigator.com to get the fake certificate. So let us go back to the code right here. So we are creating a context right here. Then we are initializing the context with something called a key manager, and there are no, we don't have any key managers right there. And every time I mention any class right here, then there is a topic actually to read up on. Why do we need a key manager? Why do we need a trust manager? All of these concepts should be dug into a bit more. If you want to, if you're interested in how the validation of a domain certificate, which part it actually consists of. Then we have a secure trust manager right here, and this is actually a class that I've created myself, and I've named this not secure, because try to see what I'm doing right here. I've created this private class, not secure trust manager right here, and it actually does not need that exception right there, and it does not need that exception either. So here we actually have a not secure trust manager. It does not do anything, and it's just a dummy one that is not that secure. Actually, it never throws an exception. It never. It does not do what it's just two empty methods, as you can see right here. So this is actually where we would have our client check and our server check right here, and then we could use that in our Java program. But this is not the purpose of this of tonight's example right here. The purpose right here is to get the certificate out, and I don't care about if it's secure or not right now. So that's why I'm cutting these corners right here. Then I set my default context right here, SSL context, set default context, and here I use this nice dummy context that where I have my not secure trust manager right here, and then I am creating a URL from the string that we got in the top right here as an argument. So that's quite good. So far, so good. And then I'm creating a HTTPS connection right here. So I'm opening up my connection, and I'm converting this to a HTTPS URL connection. And that is because the default right here is just a normal URL connection. And what do I do right here? First, I set this hostname verifier to a beautiful implementation of my own of a hostname verifier right here. This is an interface, so this could actually just be a lambda, and that's probably also what it says right here. Instead of having hostname verifier, then I could convert this to a lambda actually. So I would like to have these strings right here. So we need to verify it from the SSL session and from the string. Let us just change it. Right, actually, I would like to get my types also right here. So yeah, and then we always return true. So the host name is always verified, and this is not very good, because a lot of times when your certificate has expired, then there is a default certificate if you have a Kubernetes cluster, and if you use something like it doesn't matter what you use, but there's a default certificate from the Engin server, and this would actually usually be something that does not match your domain name, and then of course a hostname verifier would actually figure this out. But we don't care about this for now. We just care about getting the certificate, and then go through the certificate, and then we actually do the connection itself. So this is actually where we do the connection. This open connection right here, I actually don't know why it doesn't connect, but it doesn't. You have to call connect also right here. and it returns void. If you do not connect, then you will get an error when you try to get the certificates afterwards. So here we get the certificates. I'm getting 2 certificates right here, 2 server certificates right here, and I can then cast them to X509 certificate right here, because that is the type that these certificates are right here. Of course, I could check the type first, and I should check that they are a type of the X509 before I cast them, but that is. But that's okay, actually. So then I add this certificate to my list, to my collection of certificates that I want to return, and that is right here. So I have a list right here, and the return type is a collection of these certificates right here. And then it disconnects. It's always a good idea to try to clean up your code when you're done connecting to something. Then you disconnect whenever you have got the information, or in this case, the certificates that we were actually interested in. So this is the code. So then now we have the certificates. How do we show them? I've created a test right here. This is a Spring Boot test. This means that I can auto-wire in my set service right here, and then I can create, and I've created this test right here. Give me the tests, and I've prepared 2 examples, one with the www and one without the www. So that means that in this situation right here, we will actually get a valid certificate, and then we can see how that looks with a lot of system out print lines right here. We get the principal, we get the subject alternative names, and we also get the not before, and we also get the not after. These are those are the date ranges that we also see when we open the certificate inside a browser. Yeah, so that is actually it. Let us try to run this test and see what happens. If we get an error, then it's because there's actually an error. Yes, this error right here. If you get that, then I'll just show the solution to that, because it can be solved 2 ways. I found this when I was coding tonight. One of them is to wait until IntelliJ comes with a newer version. And that's actually what I'm going to do, I think. Or else you could go and set up something cool inside Gradle. So let me just check right here. I'll show that in end. But it's actually here. Here's the issue right here. It says right here, blah blah. It'll be a whole fixed in that version right there. But yeah, which version am I running right now? Let us just check. Actually, let me just check. So it's hopefully let's hope it will be fixed. But it is. People have attention to it, but the way to just continue right now is just to press play again, and then it actually works the second or sometimes the third times. But with me, it's actually every second time that it works. So every other time. So let me just go down here and here. So first of all, we start our Spring application right here. Then we have our set. You can see this line right here. I like to make some kind of weird statement first, so I can see now I'm printing out stuff. And here I have my codeinvestigator.com right here, and this is my alternative names. Codeinvestigator.com. There's not that many alternative names. And this is the first date, and this is the end date. So this means I need a new certificate from Let's Encrypt before this 5th of July. And usually Let's Encrypt, the Let's Encrypt cert manager in Kubernetes, it just handles this and renews the certificate whenever it is needed. It will probably renew it in June at some point. Then we have the other certificate. This is the root certificate, or this is a certificate chain. So first we have this is Let's Encrypt, and then we have Then we have the root certificate here actually. If you don't know what a root certificate is, that is actually the certificate that was used to create my certificate, which is right here. There's a lot of things to read up on as soon as you start on playing around with the SSL domain certificates. But when you first got a hang of it, then it's actually not that difficult again. So let us try the other example right here. So I have the www.code investigator. This is where the certificate is not valid. Let us see. I got the error again. I'll press play again. And let us see if it's been solved. Yeah. So here is the, here we have the run here with output. And the situation right here, I get this Kubernetes Ingress controller fake certificate, acme.co. And that, of course, that also has a before and after certificate right there. So that is the default certificate on my server right now. So that is why it goes back to the default certificate. If it cannot find a certificate that matches the URL in the Ingress rules, then I will try with a default certificate, and this is currently the default certificate. Of course, my solution right now for this should actually be to go and add www.codeinvestigator.com to my Kubernetes Ingress rules, and then I would also get a nice certificate from Let's Encrypt on that on that host name. This is just what I want to show. I will share the code because and I found this code on Stack Overflow. Let me just show you. So I was inspired a lot by this example right here. Let me just see if I can find it. It's actually 9 years old right here. Here we have this, how to check SSL certificate expiration date programmatically in Java. And then there was this example right here. There were some things that needed, so we need to cast it to, and actually many of the comments actually also mentioned that we have to cast it to an X509 certificate, and we also have to run connect before actually extracting the certificate. There's a lot of cool things on Stack Overflow, and this was just another one of them. I will commit this code and place it on my GitHub in a GitHub repository as usual, and I'll place the link in the comments. In the description. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great evening, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.